Hey everyone, my name is Ismael.
And I am Victoria,
and we are the Growth Code Podcast.
Let's talk a little about your paintings.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of the story behind them.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to start with that one.
Yeah, so this is titled I Can't See Me Cry, and it's actually a lyric from Lady Gaga's song 911. That song she's talking about medication, the slang name of it is 911. I don't know the medical name of the medication, but it's about antipsychotic pill. And for me, when I heard I Can't See Me Cry, that instantly took me back to when I was 14. Because after I experienced a suicide attempt, I was immediately forced onto antidepressants. And that's when I was 14.
Yeah.
Your brain don't stop growing until you're 25, I believe.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was just a kid. I painted myself during the time that I actually painted this. So I'm a full adult. But this is also me fully processing when I was a teenager, if that makes sense. So for me, I painted all the different types of antidepressants I've been on. It was a huge gap between 2007 to 2020. No, actually, sorry. 2007 to 2016, 2017, I was on antidepressants.
All the time.
Off and on.
Okay.
So there was a huge moment where I was on it daily for a while, and then I got off because I didn't like the symptoms, and I ended up switching, and it was just like this trial and error. And it finally got to a point where I just I was feeling more negative effects with the antidepressants than I was actually.
That's what I was going to ask, if you felt like you were more
Yeah.
at your lowest with those.
With those, it was, I can't say it was negative or positive. For me, from my own personal experience and journey, I'm kind of anti-medication. I feel like there's so much that you can do for your body that's organically and just like even.
Do you feel like your liver has anything to do with all the antidepressants? Is that not? Are they not?
No,
connected?
mine's a genetic disease. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get rid of her. She's stuck with me forever.
But in the process of, you could always still, because the liver's the liver.
Yeah.
Still, have you ever detoxed the liver?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I mean is anti-medication, I mean in a mental health state, chemically putting things in your brain to kind
Right, because then
of.
you got the brain
Yeah,
too.
there's medications out there for your body that are absolutely like a game changer. But as far as like
Yeah, I know
medically,
a lot of people that, that are antidepressants and they're like emotionally shut off.
yeah, and that's
they're like zombies, and it's sad because, they get on antidepressants to kind of not feel depressed, but it's like it closes out all your emotions.
Yeah.
So
it flatlines you kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And for me, I was on antidepressants when I went through the most traumatic event in my life. So I feel like I wasn't able to fully process that until years later and then off the medication. But yeah, this was just me where I felt like in the painting, I wanted to capture myself. This is actually in the San Luis Valley, where it's kind of like a deserty kind of vibe.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My family,
Same.
both of ours.
Yeah, my grandmother's from there, so it felt like home.
Nice. So you painted this there?
No, I painted this, actually, I started it in Denver and I finished it here.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to do a landscape where it was kind of dry, and water represents emotions. So I wanted to capture a setting where it was just dry, and the lettering on the cracks say "Help me." So I wanted to capture.
HELPME. Oh, how amazing!
Yeah, so there's a lot of hidden symbolism in here that even for myself, I wanted to capture, because I feel like during those times where I was on medication, I was seeking help, but I didn't know how to ask for the right help.
Right.
But yeah, that's this painting kind of wrapped up in a nutshell.
Sorry to get off topic.
Yeah, no,
but,
you're good.
You're from the Valley, or your family's from the Valley?
Yes, kind of. Just by a couple generations, if not just one generation, my great grandmother.
What part?
But Sawatch, Colorado. So it's
I don't know where that's at.
it's about 40 minutes to an hour west of the sand dunes.
Oh,
It's kind of in the
okay.
close up to the mountains on the opposite side of the sand dunes.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Colorado Springs, but yeah, that's kind of where I spent summers. So, I titled this piece, Dad, I Need You. I almost forgot what it was called right there. And this was a painting that I had visions of for about 1.5 years, and I didn't know how to capture it. It was just something that I'm like, I have this vision of a pyramid of just beer bottles, and it has to do with like how I felt my childhood looked like for me, if I could talk to it like in a visual artistic way. So growing up, I was exposed to a lot of alcohol and the effects that it would have on a family.
Do you feel like that kind of influenced you? As you got older?
For
like
sure.
When you became, so right here, this painting is basically like your dad's addiction with alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
it... your family in general.
I think just more so the whole family. I mean, definitely there was a lot of influence from my parents, for sure, particularly with the male figure, you know, kind of just like that mindset of having a father figure in your life.
I could definitely relate. My dad grew up, and I mean, he's still drinking, so the title, Please Dad, I Need You, you know, that speaks for the whole painting. Like, you just understand. And, you know, did you ever go through a time where, like, there was actual beer bottles thrown and cracked all over the place? Like, was he ever angry, or was it more just him drinking?
It was just, there was so much alcohol in my childhood, just the action of drinking, that it fills a lot of my childhood memories with alcohol. But yeah, I had this vision, I want to capture it, of kind of just what my childhood felt like. And I wanted to capture this in a way. There's hands kind of grabbing me. Those are my own, if you want to call them demons, addictions, and they're kind of, the artwork kind of stems into other paintings,
so
telling a story.
Together.
Yeah. So like one of the arms has to do with anger, the other one has to do with addiction, the other one has to do with depression. So these are all different deep, dark energies holding me back.
Right.
And in a different way, I didn't know how to really, with this finish painting, in a way tell the story of these arms are preventing me from reaching the top where my dad's at, or are they pulling me into the bottles? So it's a way that I was still, and for me, I don't have an answer. It's kind of, these are sinking me into addiction down the road as an adult, but they're also preventing me from reaching the top, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, a lot of my pieces are inspired by Frida Kahlo. This one with the frame and the clouds, Frida Kahlo actually did a painting called The Suicide of Dorothy Howell, I believe I said her last name right. A lot of these paintings have inspirations from different artists, primarily Frida Kahlo. But yeah, I had this vision. Thank you. I had this vision for almost 2 years, and I just did not know how to capture when the right time was. But yeah, this one's very special.
How long did it take you to paint and to do everything?
This one was roughly about a week. It was not that long.
A week?
Yeah, some of them take. They all vary with time frames, but this one went by pretty fast.
When you do one of your art pieces, in that moment, do you feel like your emotions are stuck to what you're making, if that makes sense? So, like, this one, when you made this one, were you feeling like all the emotions that you were feeling when you had addiction or when you were younger and everything like that? Like, it kind of, does it bring back memories and make you feel a certain kind of way, or was it just like, this is healing for me? This is definitely healing for me, but it does have that part of I'm coming to peace with the situations and outcomes. With like you're putting it on a canvas and you're laying it to rest, pretty much. That for sure, and I think for me too, it's just something that hits different when you're creating and you're thinking about things and you're really letting go and coming to peace. And even some of these pieces, like probably one of the next ones we'll talk about, even just painting just one of them could not do justice. I had to paint more about the situation, but I feel like with this, I was finally getting with terms of grieving a father in my life and really how this tied into my addiction of me going the same generational cycle of traumas. Because, you know, it's not pinpoint just to this individual. It's the father before that, the father, you know, it's this whole generational traumas and
I ended up taking a part of it, but I'm also the one really trying to heal myself so I don't pass that along to the next generation.
You're breaking generation curses.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And that's why in the process of breaking it, you know, you probably feel a lot of growing pains. It hurts.
It's bittersweet. It really is.
And you know what? In our time now in this generation, like us, you know, we come to terms with breaking generational curses because you know we've seen it before, and we've seen it before that, and we heard about it before that. But we've come to a time now where we have all the tools and all the help to get to a point where we're like, okay, you know what, this stops with us.
Yeah, and I also want to make a little side note is this isn't to shame, you know, my father. It's kind of acknowledging, you know, me trying to process what my dad was going through or what I would assume or, you know, this isn't a pinpoint like you're the problem. There's a lot of problems that came out of the situations and why I'm in therapy and, you know, addictions, but it's also finding empathy for another person's story.
Right. Have you showed that to your dad?
Not yet, as we speak about this. So that's something I want to talk about is really sharing the story because I don't want the message to be like I'm pinpointing like you're the problem and you're the cause or do that. It's for sure just it's sharing my story and unfortunately this experience is part of my story and I'm you know as an adult I get to share my story and
you get to share both your guys' story, you know. Do it together.
Yeah. And I think that's very beautiful because how you said like you've seen it going on in your entire family, but you know you needed your dad. Yeah.
And for the long time, like my mother had to play the roles of both father and mother, which is so much pressure on an individual. Just you know, that expectation just on yourself to fill the roles of two people.
Right.
So it plays in a lot, but also too, one thing I wanted to pinpoint is the paintings that I do with the skin banner and the tattoo. Those are paintings that are significant in my life because they're tattoos on my soul from my experience. Yeah, so a lot of them
very deep.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of message behind each.
Yeah, so these ones are I don't know if you want to call them spiritual or just experience tattoos in my life that these are the key ones that have really affected me to who I am sitting in this room.
Right. I could feel the energy for sure.
Thank you.
Do you want to pull up the other one right there?
Yeah, for sure.
Show that one. I'll slide this one over. Are those just the three that you have?
I had to think for a second. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they have the banner at the top?
Yeah. Okay. But I wanted to do a series of just kind of...
Do you want to put this one up here now that we're moving around?
We can, yeah.
That one? Yeah.
So this one I titled, I Feel So Low from Living High. It's also another lyric from Lady Gaga, her song Dope, which is just talking about sobriety and addiction with alcohol and drugs. For me, I painted this after the contemplating suicide. So when you asked me, did I paint anything? Yeah. This was it. This was a couple months after. If I can paint it like that. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, this is a part 2 to this one with the pill bottle. And I wanted to capture myself of how addiction felt. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just you're stuck in a bottle, essentially. And I wanted to tie this piece because it does have to do with suicide. So there are razor blades because kind of wanted to tie that into feeling lost and not knowing what to do and how to break a cycle for my own story. So in the painting right before, you kind of see there's eyes that are on the banner. Mm-hmm. I wanted them to drop down because this is now my reality. In a sense of this is more kind of part of the banner in the artwork form, not realistic, but like a tattoo style. Right. This is now my full reality of me processing my emotions. So I'll probably pull
this one.
Yeah, kind of side by side. Kind of, I wanted to do a series. So with the last one, that's kind of like the first one of my childhood, what I saw, the effects on that, my introduction to antidepressants, and my story with sobriety. So in a way, that's part 1, part 2, part 3. I wanted this to be a different feel. So once I brought the eyes down from here, they're more down here. This is all filled with emotion. Water, like how I mentioned, is emotion. This is the same scene, continuing with the mountain scenes, but this is flooding because there's, once you're into addiction, you feel so much. With the antidepressants, you're not really feeling those things. But when I was smoking, when I was doing drugs, when I was, all the drugs I was doing, I was feeling too much emotion. So I would go to a bottle to numb those emotions to kind of balance it out of, in a way numbing, but it's more enjoyable. Right. So I'm trapped in a bottle filled with so much emotion. And yeah, this also has to do with my liver disease. So everyone thinks it's a tongue, but it's my liver down here on the bottom, and the veins are kind of rooted on the ground. So it's a way of coming to terms with this disease that I have now and how much that's playing an effect on my body, especially with alcohol, because the alcohol only destroys the liver. But yeah, this is my introduction into sobriety.
So did you stop drinking because of the liver disease?
Not necessarily. Even when I got the news that I had the liver disease, that didn't stop me. Okay. It was not enough. I was at a point where my health, I didn't care. Like, I really didn't care. It was more so the moment of, I was, in a way, was coming to terms with everything emotionally and how much everything as a whole, my health, my mental state, my addictions, how much that was affecting me. And I was finally seeing that. But a doctor telling me that I had a disease, that didn't stop me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Very detailed. They have a lot of emotions just looking at them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
I like how I didn't even notice the ocean. It was like an ocean or crying.
The water falls from the eyes because they're just crying.
It looks like the ocean. So it also brings a sense of peace when I look at these drawings. I think the very first one I ever saw was this one. And when I first saw it, it really gave me peace of mind that, when the doctors want to put me on antidepressants and I didn't want to go that route, for people that do go that route, either side, it really ties into what we'll feel, the feel, everything always draws back to emotion, just the feeling. But when I saw this, it really it made me feel like I wasn't alone, that there's more people out there that was going through it, so I really like this one.
Yeah, and I want to clarify, I'm not shaming anyone that's on antidepressants. That's one thing I want to be very clear. This is just about my personal journey and how medication was just not suited for me. But I know for other people it's a lifeline and it helps them, and that's amazing.
Exactly.
But for my journey, I feel like I started to find myself in a natural way that was not with a pharmacy or a doctor. I was kind of doing everything on my own terms and what resonated with me.
Yeah, that's getting to the root cause.
Yeah.
Gotta get to the root cause of it.
For sure. All right. So this was the most difficult painting that I had to do for myself, and it was the moment that I actually started working on my healing journey. My way of thinking, which I didn't know any other way to heal. My way of thinking was, if I jump off the tallest diving board and go to the abyss of my mind, I can't go any further down. I can only go up. So I took myself to my worst memory ever. This painting is titled My Worst Memory, Yusuf. This stems back to 2016 when I experienced rape. And for me, I wanted to title the banner, So This Is Love, because at the time, this was a relationship that I had. It wasn't done by a stranger. It was actually someone that I put trust in. And being in the setting of this was my first intimate encounter with someone, losing my virginity, had to do with rape. So for me, that really, really messed me up, because I'm like, I didn't know what love was supposed to be, because I was such in a vulnerable place. And this had to do with when I was 21 back in 2016. So for me, capturing the shallow grave for the long time, I didn't know what love was, because it messed me up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was inspired by a painting that Frida Kahlo did. I can't say in Spanish, but it's called Just a Few Snips, and it's very similar to how that line is. It's just me kind of doing my interpretation of my story.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the room to be breaking into a void, because it was, in a way, it's me destroying this memory that's haunted me for years. But yeah, I wanted to really put the feels out there of this was a moment that I feel like a huge part of me had died, and it wasn't until actually painting this and doing another painting, kind of part 2 of it, that it really got me to a mode of really processing it, because this one, it took me 4 years to acknowledge this event that happened to me, and then it took another additional 4 years to heal from it. So altogether it took 8 years just to really recover. And even now there's moments where I catch myself, whether it's being intimate with someone, that I start, I can feel my nervous system kind of like,
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, this was a huge moment where once I dived into it, I think this really caused me to kind of go into psychosis. When I went out to a bar, I remember this figure, Yusuf, I would see it everywhere I'd go. And I felt like it was chasing me. And even during those moments, I had to carry protection, because I felt like I was going to be followed, and this was going to be something that was going to continue.
Were you on antidepressants during this time? Like, were you numb?
Yeah. So this was a time where I was off and on antidepressants.
Wow. Such a detailed piece, from the frame to everything. It just...
Yeah, and the frame with the paint on there as blood, that's also the same painting that Frida did with Just a Few Snips. She put blood, and she actually used a knife to stab the frame. So it was just a physical way of getting the message out there. And for me, it felt like murder. Like I said, I felt like a part of me died. And, especially for anyone that's experienced that, it's so traumatizing. And for me, I was living in such a fight or flight state of mind. So even after this happened, I was just trying to survive. I wasn't thinking about it. And it wasn't until 4 years later that I put a name to it. I'm like, oh my God, this was actually this. And then that was really when I felt like, kind of going back to the previous question of when did I notice with my mental health kind of changing, this was the moment. Because for so long I had placed this memory, this experience into a box, and I downplayed it. I'm like, oh yeah, it was, it was what it was. Unfortunately, it was a crappy experience, especially losing your virginity. But after that, it was like, oh my God, this was actually something that I've carried for so long and didn't know where my anxiety was coming from.
Right.
Yeah. So this one really had a toll with me, and even going into my next relationship, because I didn't process this. I wasn't aware of how much this was affecting me, that I couldn't trust anyone in an emotional way of like, the person who you're with, you want to trust. But for me, my first relationship, my first time anything, especially after coming out, I was very vulnerable with myself, coming to terms with I'm gay, and publicly, being proud of that this was a time where I was just very vulnerable, naive with the world. So this really destroyed me for years. And my way of processing this, oddly enough, was I was very scared. I remember I was telling my roommates about this painting, and I had so much anxiety just even showing them.
Yeah.
And my way of processing this, I had this next to my bed, and I would wake up every single day just looking at it. I don't know if that's a healthy way, but for me, it was just my way of processing the grief and the experience.
There's just so much detail to look at that, there's so many emotions and feelings connected to it. You probably woke up and just it's like a self-reflection. You had to really take a step back and reflect and be like, that was a part of you, but now it's,
Yeah. Unfortunately, like,
newer.
I understand this is always going to be part of, like, my story.
Right.
It's just I've really come to terms, and I found in a weird way, and it has to do with more with that painting. I found forgiveness and a lot of release, but there's still parts of me that, you know, younger Eli David went through. That's, you know, that's unfortunately going to be part of the experience of this life, and I've just learned to not minimize the experience, but able to not let this event affect me going further in life. So this one,
excuse me,
I started getting into my ancestry a couple years ago. This painting is actually, I believe, 1 year old, roughly about this week. So happy birthday.
Right.
But the exact same individual's me, Yusuf at the bottom. And I wanted to capture more of my indigenous side, learning more about the stories of, you know, the culture. I've always been drawn to eagle, which is, I have a Kachina doll at the bottom. And eagle is a spirit that represents strength. It's the highest animal closer to the creator. So you kind of, the eagle's seen to be the bridge between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. So I wanted to capture bravery and strength all into a self-portrait. And so I captured myself as an eagle, kind of taking back my power. I had this vision, oddly enough, when I was driving down I-25, and I just kind of had this vision of an eagle flying to this field that was on fire, and there was a snake, and I knew exactly the energies. I was the eagle, Yusuf was the snake, and this is kind of my way of finding my own strength again and really reclaiming my power and really, I don't know if I want to say revenge in a way, in an artistic way, but it's my way of taking back my story and really finding myself again. Because for 8 years, I was a prisoner for someone else, emotionally, energetically, physically. I felt like I was not myself. And this is kind of the moment where I wanted to capture with a wound in the eye as a part of me injured in this storyline. But it's also, I'm taking full control of my power back.
Yes, definitely. Especially the snake. You know, I could picture when you're talking about it, just going down and grabbing the snake and, you know, definitely taking your power back.
Yeah. So it's very dark, but it's, again...
It's very deep.
Yeah, it's very deep, and it's a way of just me reclaiming my power from a very horrible experience.
Since then, have you spoke to him, or
no?
It was just and done.
Yeah, it was a very, I don't know how to say it. Like, it was a very horrible experience, and it was not that long, and even how it ended, it was horrible. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I hope I don't encounter this person ever again.
Right.
I've also found peace, and I've kind of, I never really thought about like re-encountering that person. I don't know how to go about that in a way.
Yeah. Well, for now, you can just focus on your strength.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely found my strength back. I'm not afraid of this individual anymore. I'm not really, you know. This was a moment in my life where I really, really had to find myself and my strength. And once you get there from healing and living through something like this extreme, you get the sense of like power and ownership of like, I'm unstoppable now. I'm very, you know, very strong.